Black metal from Poland. Each and every one of us pretty much know the big names from Poland, be it Behemoth, Graveland, Blaze of Perdition and the like. However, Poland is full of smaller bands, of which some just haven't yet surfaced to kind of make it big or make it to the album level. What we have here is this time is a band called Moonthoth, with finally their debut album called Zmora. And why finally is that the band has been there since early 2000s, and now almost 20 years later it's finally time for their first full-length album. Has it been worth the wait? Well, unfortunately I'm kinda inclined to say not really. Because the thing here is, the band is kind of a potential, but, and then comes the but. The thing is, this one-man project seems a little bit like work in progress versus being fully cool and great album. And unfortunately so, that just happens to be more of a rule than an exception when we're talking about one-man projects. Because so often, rather than not, when one man enters the game and there is nobody to criticize or produce or say, don't do that, maybe you should do that, the kind of a lack of self-critique, if you will, when that's not present, things sometimes don't go as maybe they should. Anyway, let's take a look at the band's metal archives while I guide you through the music here. Now, like I said, Polish black metal is interesting in so many ways. There are lots of cool bands coming, all kinds of stuff. Raw black metal, more symphonic stuff, more pagan stuff, high-end stuff, etc. So there are lots of different bands coming from Poland, and Polish black metal, almost every time, it's rather interesting case for me to check out, because this diversity and variety and the different approach from different eras and different places and different people, it all comes down to the fact Poland is kind of a treasure trove for very, very many kinds of black metal. Maybe not in quality-wise so close to Norway, the classic 90s era especially, or nowadays Finland, or maybe Sweden, but still I think Poland is very, very interesting when it comes to these black metal bands. But unfortunately, Moonthoth seems to be kind of like lagging behind. Now, don't get me wrong, Zmora is not a bad album. In fact, it's quite okay, but hardly anything beyond that. Now, everything from this production to the songwriting is something that kind of takes me back to the 90s. I mean, the early Behemoth material, which some people just worship like blindly. And while there's nothing wrong with that, you know, people who are expecting something kind of a more modern or different kind of stuff will be disappointed with Moonthoth. Because, like I said, this is very much like the typical first album. The one that you do when you just haven't been there multitude of years, but kind of learning the basics of the trade. Maybe you did a demo or two, and then you decided, let's go pursue our career with a real debut album. And then you end up doing the kind of a basic mistakes, like the production is not too shabby, you could have done better with the vocals, and the riffs and the overall songwriting is like, okay, we're getting where you're heading to, but it's not there. You're not ready for the cigar and whiskey glass. And unfortunately, Zmora, after 19 years in the making, I mean, when you take a look at this discography, there are plenty of demos. It seems like this is still very much work in progress. Like I said, while not exactly bad, nothing really moves me here. I mean, the songs are kind of easy to listen to, but then you're feeling like, yeah, I'm just gonna scratch my back of my neck. Maybe I need to go to walk. Is this album already done? Oh, it's just halfway through. And you're like, yeah, not just cutting it. So if I was of this big ass label boss ready to just push the buttons and decide which gets released and which gets not, I would say, sorry guys, I know what you're doing, I know what you're after, and I kind of can understand your vision, but you are not ready there. And by you, I mean just one person behind the band, Nocturnal, using the pseudonym of that. So, I don't know, Moonthoth could just be there in a few years, maybe the next album, or the album before that, after that, that is. Maybe that could be the real deal. But here it's something like a lukewarm experience, something that really leaves me this kind of a feeling like, It's an itch I can scratch and I cannot remove it. But as long there is this itch, I'm not gonna be happy about this album. Remove the itch and we're gonna talk about record deal. Anyway, those of you who are ready to go back in the 90s kind of a feeling with Polish black metal, check out Zmora. Links are always, like always, in the description box. Who knows, maybe this is your album of the year. Unfortunately, not for me. Thank you for watching the review. Put your comments and questions in the description box, or under the description box, and I'll get back to you. Take care.